nobody expected it to be so fast. In just 82 days, Tesla assembled from scratch the most ambitious production line in its history, that of the 2026 Model 2 Senior Edition. And it's no exaggeration to call it historic. While other automakers are still crawling with timelines of 12 to 18 months to get a car from the drawing board to the factory floor, Tesla simply doubled down and won. It all started with strange supplier movements and mysterious satellite images. Before you knew it, the line was calibrated. The most curious thing? It wasn't just the speed that shocked, it was the type of line that appeared there. A modular hybrid structure built to challenge the very concept of automotive production. What Tesla did was to remove the slow gears of the old industry and install a new, beating heart. No endless conveyor belts and robots bumping into each other. What exists there is an intelligent flow, where each step connects in autonomous microcells that work in harmony. It's as if the factory has a life of its own. The secret lies in the linear cellular layout, where parts don't need to cross the entire plant to reach their final destination. The less movement, the less time. The less error, the less cost. Elon Musk had already said that the factory of the future would be more revolutionary than the car itself. In 2026, it seems he wasn't kidding. Now, if there's one thing that stands out in this new line, it's the pair of gigacasting machines. Two 6,500-ton machines, positioned with surgical precision, compress almost 270 parts into two colossal blocks, front and rear. This changes everything. Welding becomes a thing of the past. Manual adjustments? Forget about it. The Model 2 Senior Edition is born almost ready in a few seconds. But it's not just brute force. Tesla even adjusted the metal alloy to reduce fragility and eliminate 3 kilos of unnecessary reinforcements. The result? More fluid injection, fewer defects, and a lighter and more resistant structure. Who would have thought engineering could be so elegant? This elegance is also evident in the integration of processes. Right after the gigacastings, the chassis slides into a machining corridor that's only 31 meters long. It might seem like just a number, but that's half the size used by the competition, like Volkswagen's ID.3, for example. And when you save 14 seconds per unit, you can bet that translates into hundreds of hours saved per year. That's time that becomes money, and money that becomes margin. And margin, in this case, helps keep the car's price below the much-discussed $30,000, an achievement that seemed like fiction just a few years ago. Further on, the line surprises again with what is perhaps the most ingenious aspect of the assembly: the installation of the battery module. Instead of using a wide and cumbersome format like that of the Model Y, Tesla developed a narrow module, installed with triple robotic arms, calibrated with a margin of error of only 0.7 millimeters. This means a perfect fit, without the need for manual adjustments or extra shims. Assembly time drops by more than 5 minutes per vehicle. On a factory scale, that's an eternity saved. And as if that weren't enough, the module fits directly into the cast structure, as if it had been part of it from the beginning. But perhaps the most ingenious part isn't the technology itself, but how everything interacts. The entire line was built in 5 independent modules, each with its own buffer and error isolation system. If one of them stops, due to maintenance, calibration, or any unforeseen event, the others continue working. This is something Toyota has dreamed of achieving for years, and Tesla did it quietly. The advantage? A drastic reduction in downtime, greater production stability, and a continuous capacity that can reach 110,000 units per year. And if the second shift comes in full force, that number could jump to 128,000. While the rest of the market still grapples with chip bottlenecks, nickel shortages, and hastily adapted plants, Tesla has launched a line designed from scratch, with a total focus on speed, efficiency, and scalability. And the most curious thing, is that all of this was done for a car that, technically, should be basic. But the 2026 Model 2 Senior Edition is anything but basic. It's being born inside a production lab that looks more like a cross between a rocket factory and a Swiss watchmaker's. And even those who aren't fans of the brand have to admit, this line has changed the game. The most curious thing is that, despite all the technology involved, the Model 2 Senior Edition wasn't designed to impress with power or speed. It was born with a much more human purpose, to make life easier for those who have already seen a lot on this road called life. And this decision wasn't just aesthetic. Each assembly stage was adapted to make comfort and accessibility a top priority. It all starts with a separately assembled cabin module, which looks more like an ergonomic cocoon. In it, each part arrives ready to use, from the wider seat rails to the soft-touch glove compartment. Nothing was placed there by chance. Unlike other Tesla models that prioritize sportiness and bold design, the Senior Edition embraces a different philosophy. The door hinges, for example, require very little effort. The interior levers don't demand much strength. And even the steering wheel has a lighter response system designed for those who may no longer have the same reflexes as before, but still want freedom, autonomy, and style. Instead of excluding this audience from the electric revolution, Tesla seems to have given them a front-row seat. And that, let's face it, is rare in an industry so obsessed with youth and performance. The cabin, built as a single ergonomic module, is surprisingly integrated into the car's body. Using a robotic indexing system, this entire block is fitted with a single precise movement, like a capsule entering a spacecraft. This method, inspired by the assembly of fuselages in the aerospace industry, ensures that nothing is out of place. Furthermore, it drastically reduces installation time and alignment errors, two problems that have always plagued low-cost compact vehicles. And in this respect, Tesla succeeds by betting on standardization without losing the personal touch. Another detail that doesn't go unnoticed is the seat rail system. It was designed to open at wider angles, allowing the driver to get in and out much more easily. This may seem simple, but anyone who has ever had to bend down too much to get into a low car knows the relief this type of adaptation brings. The choice of materials is also noteworthy. Softer to the touch fabrics, larger and more intuitive buttons, fewer confusing screens, and more physical control. It's as if the car is saying, "Relax, I'll adapt to you." Some say this takes away from Tesla's futuristic identity, but that's precisely the innovation here. Because being truly futuristic isn't about cramming the dashboard with screens and sensors. It's about knowing who you're building for. And if that audience wants practicality, comfort, and simplicity, Tesla has decided to deliver that with the same care it dedicates to its rockets. It's not about nostalgia, it's about respect. And honestly, that should be copied by the entire industry. Rarely has such a sensitive and technically sound approach been seen. The most surprising part is that this change of focus hasn't affected the line's efficiency. On the contrary, the fact that the modules arrive pre-assembled saves time and reduces the need for rework. Everything is fitted, tested, and finalized with minimal human contact, but with maximum attention to detail. A good example of this is the new internal block installation system, which uses sensors to detect any misalignment before the module is positioned. This reduces assembly errors and ensures that each vehicle leaves with the same quality standard. For older drivers, small gestures make all the difference. The reduced resistance steering, for example, prevents fatigue during urban maneuvers. The new trunk has a lower opening closer to the ground, making it easier to load heavy items. Even the audio system has been calibrated to offer clarity in mid and high frequencies, as this is an auditory range that tends to deteriorate with age. The entire car seems to communicate with its owner, not the other way around. And this reversal of logic is a lesson in empathy that goes beyond technology. The choice of batteries for the Model 2 Senior Edition was not made by chance. And, honestly, it may be one of the greatest successes of this project. Instead of betting everything on a single chemistry, Tesla decided to follow three parallel paths, each designed for a specific need. The highlight of the launch version is the reliable LFP battery, with a capacity between 42 and 46 kWh. This old acquaintance may not have the glamour of newer technologies, but it offers a stability that few rivals can achieve. With more than 6,000 cycles before losing efficiency, it promises more than 15 years of worry-free use for those who drive around 15,000 kilometers per year. Now, if the focus is on durability, the LFP fulfills its role masterfully. But what about those who live in cold regions and are tired of seeing their car die in winter? That's where Tesla's second bet comes in: sodium-ion batteries. With a slightly lower energy density, around 135 kWh, they compensate with almost unbeatable performance in sub-zero temperatures. While many batteries suffer from sharp drops in range in the cold, sodium-ion batteries maintain their composure down to 22 degrees. This solves a real problem that many people ignore, but which profoundly affects the daily lives of older drivers in cold regions. Another positive aspect of sodium batteries is their cost. They are about 22 to 28% cheaper to produce, because they don't depend on lithium, nickel, or cobalt. And this makes a difference for a public that often lives on a fixed income and seeks a reliable but affordable car. The version equipped with 38 to 40 kWh of sodium-ion still delivers a range of between 240 and 255 km, enough for urban and intercity use, with the advantage of not collapsing in the cold. It's a smart choice for strategic markets. And, let's face it, a subtle way to further democratize electric mobility. But the real wild card of the story is the third battery, the controversial and promising aluminum-ion. Still in the pilot phase, it's not ready to power the entire car, but that hasn't stopped Tesla from finding a brilliant use for it. Small 18 to 22 kWh modules are being prepared as a kind of auxiliary layer for ultra-fast charging. In laboratory tests, this cell can fully recharge in less than 90 seconds. This is not fiction. Just imagine stopping at the market, making a quick purchase, and driving away with 50 kilometers more range in the car. For the older urban driver, that's freedom in battery form. Of course, there are still limitations. The energy density of aluminum-ion batteries ranges between 110 and 120 Wh, making them heavy for long distances. But, as a range extension module, especially in urban centers, the proposal is brilliant. Furthermore, by not using expensive metals, it has the potential to further reduce the cost of EVs in the future. Even if the initial version of the Model 2 Senior Edition only comes with LFP, this slightly open door to future innovations shows that Tesla isn't just thinking about the present. It's planting the seeds of possibilities. What's interesting is seeing how each battery chemistry resonates with a different type of user. LFP for those who want durability and simplicity. Sodium for those who face extreme climates and want reliability at any temperature. And aluminum-ion for the more urban and connected users who value charging speed and practicality in their daily lives. Instead of pushing a single solution, Tesla offers an energy menu, something rare even among industry giants. This demonstrates a strategic maturity that few expected to see in this segment. Furthermore, this flexibility helps the company shield itself from raw material supply crises. If lithium becomes expensive, there's sodium. If sodium is delayed, LFP holds the foundation. And if aluminum-ion takes off, well, then Tesla changes the game again. This vision of multiple energy pathways may very well be the new industry standard. And by all indications, the Model 2 Senior Edition is being used as the perfect testing ground to consolidate this approach. A true game-changer, disguised as an affordable car. Behind all this energy versatility lies an assembly engineering process that, frankly, seems otherworldly. Tesla spared no effort to ensure that every millimeter of the Model 2 Senior Edition production line is a lesson in efficiency. One of the best examples of this is the machining aisle. While traditional factories, like Volkswagen's, need 52 meters to perform this process on the ID.3, Tesla cut that space almost in half, just 31 meters. It may seem like a technical detail, but when you multiply that by hundreds of thousands of cars, the time and energy savings become gigantic. This reduction in space alone saves 14 seconds per unit. At first, 14 seconds doesn't seem like much, but over a year, that represents more than 390 hours of production saved. And all this without cutting steps. On the contrary, precision has increased. The robots on the line work with almost artistic delicacy, trimming, drilling, and adjusting assembly points with millimeter accuracy. It's as if we were watching a watchmaker's workshop on an industrial scale. Nothing is left over, nothing is missing, and everything flows. Not surprisingly, all this efficiency has a direct impact on the final price of the car, which remains below the dreaded $30,000. The heart of this revolution is the new battery installation system. Instead of using a wide and cumbersome deck like in the Model Y, the Senior Edition relies on a narrower module that fits as if it were custom-made. 3 robotic arms work in sync, lifting the module with a margin of error of only 0.7 mm. This means the battery is bolted directly to the car's frame without the need for manual adjustments. The result: less assembly time, fewer chances of error, and a more solid structure. It's engineering thought through to the core. But the real difference lies in the idea of continuous flow. Everything in this line was designed to eliminate bottlenecks. The assembly modules are independent, each with its own buffer and fault isolation system. If something goes wrong in one of them, such as the calibration of a robotic arm or an extra check on a batch of parts, the others continue working. This reduces downtime and maintains constant productivity. It's a concept as simple as it is powerful. And at the pace of production Tesla is pursuing, every minute counts. The logic of modularity also facilitates future expansions. If the company decides to increase the line's capacity or add new processes, such as the large-scale integration of aluminum-ion batteries, it can do so without having to rebuild everything. It simply needs to update or replace the specific modules. This gives Tesla a flexibility that very few automakers have today. And let's face it, in times of resource shortages and logistical crises, being flexible is an advantage worth its weight in gold. Or rather, it's worth billions. Another noteworthy point is the automated quality control. Cameras and sensors check each installed part in real time. If there is any deviation, even microscopic, the system adjusts or separates the part for review. This reduces the need for rework at the end of the line, speeds up the release of cars, and increases consumer confidence. For a model aimed at people over 50, an audience that values stability and safety, this is more than a differentiator. It's a guarantee of peace of mind. And of course, the factory's physical structure itself was designed to withstand this level of precision. The 6,500-ton gigapresses were installed on reinforced concrete slabs with vibration-absorbing plates. This prevents constant impacts from damaging components or causing structural failures over time.